Hi, this walkthrough is going to take you through Textarea Plus. What Textarea Plus is a flow screen component that enhances on the existing components for for text areas, as well as adds rich text functionality, along with a bunch of other really great enhancements to the text area component inside of a Salesforce flow screen. After you've installed the package and you add the Textarea Plus component to your flow screen, you have two text modes. Right now that is plain text and rich text. Plain text allows for just plain text entry, and then rich text will allow for rich text entry into a flow screen. As we move through the plain text options, we have help here inside of our custom property editor to kind of help you guide you through setup. Your component label, this adds a label right above the text input. And then placeholder text. Placeholder text is a great area for you to give instructions for your users on specific text. Once you start typing into the text component, that placeholder text will disappear. You can set a minimum characters required count. So if I want to have a minimum number of characters directly inside of my screen component, I can do that. And then you can also set a default text value. If you set the initial text value here, that is the default value. So as you move inside of your flow, anything that is automatically set there, if the user doesn't replace that text, it will be into your output. You can set the text area as required or not required, and then you also have an option here to add a character counter for your users, probably a little bit better of a user experience. You set your maximum characters allowed here, so if I set it to 25 and I have my character counter enabled, what's going to happen is below my text area we're going to see the total number of characters allowed. And then you have a characters remaining template here. We're giving you the options, a couple options to display that number of characters remaining that you can type into the box here using a couple different variables. So if we do $R, that's going to say that's the number of remaining characters. $L is for the current length, and $M is for the max allowed characters. So I might be able to do something for $L over $M, for example. But for this demo, I'm just going to stick with the $R characters remaining, and we'll see what that looks like once we actually get to run this flow screen. But real quick, other options that we have here are under rich text. Rich text is going to add a few more features, what we call advanced tools here. So you see here in our rich text options, very similar to what we saw in plain text between component label, placeholder text, initial text value, and minimum characters required, if you so choose to. Have that option, and then our enable advanced tools. When this is enabled, you have a lot more functionality that we can do here. We have our blocked words, so if I want to prevent users from entering in specific words into that component, I can do that. And we'll also display those words to the user to let them know that they need to remove that. I can also do the same thing with block symbols. I can block specific symbols into the component, and then as the user types those, the Textarea Plus will actually display that content to the user as part of our validation to let them know that the @ symbol in this case is not allowed inside of the screen component. We also are providing an auto replace map. Auto replace map is a JSON string with a key and a value. So once I'm in the rich text component inside of my flow, and I want to give my users an option to automatically replace the word this with the word that. What will happen is they're going to click on that auto replace button, and it'll actually replace everywhere that this is with the word that. So that is something that you can do. The option here that you see here for warning only. Warning only is exactly that. It's only going to warn the user if it hits any of these validations that we see here for block words or block symbols. but it'll allow the user to advance in the flow. If this is marked as false, like it is right now, we have a block symbol or blocked words, and one of those two items is in there. What's going to happen is it's going to prevent the user from advancing inside of the flow. And then the same thing for character counter. Here you can add your maximum characters allowed as well as your characters remaining template. So that's the initial setup. Let's go ahead and take a look at what some of this looks like. So if I run my flow here and I start typing in some of the text, we'll see what it looks like. So right now I'm in rich text mode. So when we see here, I have my label up at the top. I have my placeholder text. Like I said, this will go away once I start typing. So I'm going to start typing, and we see that my placeholder text is gone. But as I'm typing, we're also seeing that I only have 19 characters remaining at this point. And I'm going to type in navigate. Oh, I actually just hit an invalid symbol or a word, and that's navigate. But I'm also going to say I'm going to navigate at. And it actually just warned me that I had that problem. So, but other thing that I can do here, I did enter in this, but I do have my auto replace here. So we can see I have suggested terms. So I can apply my suggested terms. So I can replace this with that. And we saw that it just highlighted everywhere that it just replaced with this, with the word that. I also have a search and replace. So I know navigate is one of the words there that I need to replace. I can replace navigate with go to, let's say. Then I click that, and it's going to highlight where it is, and we see that navigate has now been removed from my invalid symbols and words. When we see here, ignore case for search, replace, and suggested terms. If I deselect that, it will take case sensitivity into consideration with my search and replace. I can actually undo my replace, so maybe I do want all of that. I can do all of that. Like I said, with the right now I'm ignoring case sensitivity. If I deselect this and if I were to go back, it would continue. It would ignore that capital N that I had in navigate there. But that's what we have for right now. If you guys have any recommendations or if there's a feature request for this component, please let us know, and we'll see what we can do to get it added in.